This is the fourth topic in the La Trobe University Career Ready module on applying for jobs. It's about strategies for completing job application forms effectively, so you maximise your chances of getting through to an interview. Although most of us don't enjoy filling in forms, it's usually just something we have to do to get stuff done. How many forms have you filled out in your life? They can take a minute or a bit more time than you'd like. Sometimes they are just a formality. In some situations, a lot depends on the information and details you provide on a form. The forms you fill in when you apply for a job represent a critical part of the employer's screening and recruitment process. You'll never know how many other people are applying for the same role or what they have to offer. In a competitive market, completing a job application is like entering a competition. The prize is a job. So how might this particular competition work? What are the rules? Whether you're applying for a role in a small company or business, with the government, or with a multinational firm, all employers will be seeking the best person for the job. They will all use similar recruitment processes, but manage them in different ways based on their organisational culture, resources, and the number of job applicants they attract. All kinds of employers use application forms as part of their recruitment process to manage information about potential employees and to assess their suitability for advertised roles. The forms you fill in are used as a screening tool to directly compare you with other candidates and determine whether it's worthwhile shortlisting you for an interview or not. Small and medium employers still tend to use paper-based applications, but 77% of employers have an online application process. Online recruitment systems are increasingly common. They're especially useful for managing high volumes of applications. Imagine how many applications a company might get after advertising a vacancy on a popular website like Seek. Online application systems enable employers to screen applicants in a quick and efficient manner using computer software that scans for keywords and other data. Large employers, graduate program and other large-scale recruitment campaigns may require you to complete an online application form and also provide a cover letter and resume. When a new job ad comes out, you might be one in about 1,000 people who see it. 200 of these people will start putting together an application, whether online or on paper, but only 100 will actually finish it. Before you join 200 other people and start to fill in an application form, stop and think. Have you really thought about the job you're applying for? Research has shown that many graduates apply for lots of jobs because it seems so easy to do with online forms, not because they see themselves as well suited to a specific role. Don't just throw an application together and see what happens. Save your time and energy for putting together strong, standout applications to organisations you know something about and for roles you genuinely want. It's a competitive process. From the 100 individuals who actually submit an online application, 75 will be screened out through the online system. 25 applications will be read by a hiring manager to determine the 4 to 6 individuals who will be invited to an interview, and the one person who will be offered the role. Don't lose heart. There are some things you can't control, like the number of people applying for the job you want, or requirements an employer wants but you don't yet have. Other things you do have some control over. For example, you can greatly improve your chances of job success by taking a smart approach to planning, researching, preparing, and finalising job application forms. If you really want to go for a particular job and have decided you fit the general requirements, plan for success. Firstly, note the closing date for the application. Check all requirements and compile the documents you'll need to check for key dates and other facts you'll need to provide. If you can, read through the whole application first to determine the information needed and the amount of time it will take to complete. Some job application forms contain questions that are difficult because recruiters are wanting to test your interest and commitment. Filling out application forms will take longer than you think, so allocate time to research, prepare and submit your application. You'll probably need a few hours to fill in a typical form and complete all requirements. Set a date to submit your application early, well before the closing date. There are a few reasons for this. Firstly, employers may start shortlisting or close off applications before the closing date. Yet approximately 80% of candidates try and submit their applications in the last few days before the deadline. Secondly, the employer's website may be slower on the closing date due to increased traffic, or you may encounter technical difficulties like pages expiring or internet connection problems. If you leave it until the last minute, you may not be able to complete or submit your application by the deadline, and you'll miss out. Although employers value good academic results, they are also looking for well-rounded graduates. According to the 2013 GCA survey of a number of employers, found the top 10 skills and personal qualities sought by employers are interpersonal and communication skills, passion, knowledge of industry, drive, commitment and attitude, analytical problem-solving skills, calibre of academic results, work experience, values fit, cultural alignment, emotional intelligence, teamwork, extracurricular activities, and leadership skills. It's useful to remind yourself of what employers value and think about what you have to offer. Do some specific research on the position you are applying for and the employer. A bit of detective work can give you a heads up on an organisation's values, strategy, their organisational culture, their selection process, and what is expected of employees. Head online and look at the company website, their annual reports, their Facebook and LinkedIn pages. Head out to attend any presentations by the employer on campus or at a careers expo to expand your knowledge of the company or industry. Talk to people. It can be especially helpful to speak with any recent graduates who are employed in your field or in the company you'd like to work for. Most applications ask for factual information, things like your name, address, email, contact details, qualifications gained, education history, previous or current work experience, placements, extracurricular or community activities, reasons for applying for the job, work or residency status, and referees. So make sure you have all relevant documents on hand when you sit down to fill in online or paper-based forms. Application forms may ask open questions and try and understand and assess you, your motivations, and your ability to fit in at a particular workplace. Here's an example of an open question with some instructions. Why do you want to work for the Victorian Public Service as opposed to other graduate opportunities? What do you feel you can contribute to the work done by the Victorian Public Service? Please limit your response to 250 words or less. Information that exceeds these limits will not be considered. If you've taken time to consider whether you are genuinely interested in this particular job and done some advanced research on the Victorian Public Service, you'd be well placed to answer this question. Applications may also require you to complete one or more behavioural style questions. These questions focus on your skills. Behavioural or competency-based interview questions are based on the theory that you can predict future behaviour on the basis of past behaviour. Here's an example. Tell us about a time when you have demonstrated excellent problem-solving skills. How would you indicate that you have the skills they are looking for? You could use specific examples from a range of experiences such as study, placements, employment, voluntary or community activities, sports clubs and societies to support your claims. You could explain your skills and the results you have achieved using the STAR method. A STAR response has 4 parts. S for situation, T for the task you were given, A for the action you took, and R for result, the outcome of the situation. Focus on what you contributed and what the outcome was. You can find out more about STAR method in the Career Ready topic on responding to key selection criteria. All employers will have specific processes and requirements. If you don't follow employers' instructions, you are making it easy for them to reject your application. Always do some advanced research and preparation before tackling application forms. Most online applications will allow you to work on an application over time and save it as you go in a Word document before you finally submit it. But you do need to check that you can do this. If you don't have to complete the application in one setting, read through the application, print it off and read it carefully. Then draft the answers in advance. Allow enough time to answer all questions comprehensively, then copy them into the form. Read questions carefully and tailor your answers to them. Make sure you include job description keywords in your application. For example, if the job description mentions teamwork, use this term, not team player. Note word limits and stick to them. You don't want to be pruning your answers back at the last minute. Use the format the employer has requested for particular documents. After all that work, you want to be sure they can open and access all the information you're providing. Here are a few things to do before you finalise your application and press the submit key, or drop that application into a letterbox. An online document is still a formal job application, so make sure it looks professional and you use formal business language. Spelling and grammar errors are one of the things that employers really dislike. They create a bad impression and will probably cause your application to be rejected. So please double check your application, get a friend or family member to read over it for you, and make corrections. Keep a copy of your final application, save or print off a copy. Some online application systems won't let you access your completed forms after submitting them, so make a copy before you press the send button or submit button. This way you can review what you've written and the examples you provided prior to job interviews. Finally, remember, completing job application forms is part of a competitive process. Great results depend on time and effort you put in. Now, set aside some time to develop your skills in completing online forms. Note to self: review what employers are looking for. What are my strengths? Practice online applications.